Obama conned by portrait painter Smithsonian about to rip painting off the wall and destroy it. Now that's some karma by Al Weisman for freedomdaily.com. Has the con man finally been conned himself? The Gateway Pundit is now reporting that the god-awful portrait painted by the rabid racist artist Kendi Wiley, which former President Barack Hussein Obama had chose to do his official presidential portrait, is also a scam artist. After yesterday's official unveiling, art specialists took some time to study the painting and found something very interesting. As you can see above, the pattern repeats. This is common technique used by Chinese labor painters who mass produce artwork at neck break speeds. They repeat a pattern over and over again in order to create a scene and save time. This fills up space so the artist can save time and go on to the next painting. The scam doesn't stop here, though. The artist conveniently had a studio in Beijing, China, where he has been known to employ as many as 10 local artists and a studio director, depending on how high the demand for his art becomes. Wow, that's very interesting. Via the New York Magazine, there's nothing new about artists using assistants. Everyone from Michelangelo to Jeff Koons has employed teams of helpers with varying degrees of irony and pride, but Wiley gets uncomfortable discussing the subject. I'm sensitive to it, he says. When I first arrived at his Beijing studio, the assistants had left, and he made me delete the iPhone snapshots I had taken on the empty space. I don't want you to know every aspect of where my hand starts and ends. Well, he sounds like Obama, shady, right? Producing work in China cuts costs, but not as much as it used to, Wiley says. These days in Beijing, he employs anywhere from 4 to 10 workers, depending on the urgency, plus a studio manager, the American artist Anne Koch, whatever. Yeah, so in other words, these are repeating patterns here. That's interesting. Well, okay. Now, take a look at the other portraits and get a load of this crap over here. Do you see what the difference is? Look at that. How are they going to hang that portrait up? It's not something he did for his living room. Well, let's be honest with ourselves. Did anyone ever believe anything to come out of Barack Hussein Obama wouldn't be a scam? It's only logical that an empty, suit would also choose a fellow empty suit to paint his portrait. K&D Wiley is not only a con artist, but also a bitter racist, just like Barack Obama was, has been his whole life. You see? Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Obama portrait painter, undoubtedly in the name of artistic license, butchered history by depicting Caravaggio's classic Judith beheading Holofernes, 1602, as a vile image of a black woman decapitating a white woman. Fits the Obama years by Al Weisman here. Wiley is a gay black artist, so he gets away with it. Obama is a black president, which he's not, so he got away with it. One conned a former president, the other conned an entire nation. but neither was questioned because it would be racist to do so. We know the drill well, and we know how it goes. Let's hope the American people finally wake up to the scam that was Barack Obama and everything that surrounded him, so something like this will never happen again. Via Freedom Daily, former President Barack Obama and his old lady, Michelle Obama, just had their portrait debut to the world, and the results were hilarious. As with most presidents of the United States, they get professional portraits done, and they're supposed to represent the professionalism and great American standard. Barack and Michelle went another route, and their portraits came out a bit different. I would say drastically different. Their paintings look like they were paid for with an EBT card and don't look presidential one bit. They don't. Barack Obama sits on a wooden chair surrounded by flowers. He must have sat there for 8 years and watched the plants grow around him. Michelle Obama sits on a chair floating in a realm of blank emptiness, which amounts to the level of contributions she made to the country. Ruining a school lunch program does not count as a contribution. People on social media had a lot to say about the awkward paintings. People pointed out how odd they were and how they barely resembled the former White House residents. We gaze at Barack Obama surrounded by flowers and imagine the scene where Homer Simpson fades into a bush, only to hope that Obama one day fades into a bush as well, but doesn't resurface unless he's on a deserted island. Michelle Obama's portrait looks like another woman. It doesn't resemble her in the least. Perhaps the painter felt bad and tried to make her look better. It looks like Aunt Jemima was painted in the 1700s and does not look anything like the First Lady should look like in a professional painting. The portraits were so terrible that the people kept asking who painted this, and a quick Google search provided an immediate answer. Kindy, or whatever his name is, Wiley, painted the pictures. Next, people wondered who that was and if he was a male or female. Another quick Google search, and we found out that Wiley is an African-American male. It looks like Wiley has a lot of other portraits that are beautiful. He does some fantastic work, says you. But that's when we noticed something that stuck out like a sore hitchhiker thumb. This is something that would make me not particularly fond of hiring him if I were a former president. This is turning out to be an absolute public relations nightmare for the Obama family. We found that Wiley had painted a portrait of a black person holding a decapitated white person's head. That seems very racist and morbid. This is not someone I would hire if I was a former president. It looks as though the Obama family just found out the hard way. Either that or they just don't care. Well, I think they do care. I think it's actually it's quite embarrassing to have that picture in comparison to the others. Yeah, actually it puts it sticks out like a sore thumb, so to speak, you know? I mean, it really looks bad. It really looks bad. You don't even think he's the president of anything. Yeah, anyway, he was a piece of trash anyway, so was she. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and again, thank you so much for watching.